Hey peeps, we are back. We're talking the Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 17, Reunion Part 1. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. Okay peeps, so you already know if you listen to my Real Housewives of OC video that I have COVID, and so I'm just now starting to watch these episodes, and today is the first day that I felt good enough that I can actually talk, so let's just get into it. So I have to say that when Sanya came out, she looked so beautiful. She was glowing, and I think this is the best that I have ever seen Sanya. She looked great. She let everyone know that her due date is on Christmas Day. So this is just going to be an amazing time for her and her family, and I'm very happy for them. She's getting her beautiful rainbow baby, and I'm very happy for Sanya. Sheree coming out saying that she was having some sort of breathing issue and decided to get a little tweak on her nose. I don't think that it was a little tweak, and I can clearly look at her and see a difference from Sheree earlier in the season in her confessionals to Sheree after in her confessionals to Sheree throughout all the years on the show. And as I have always said, I don't begrudge anyone of getting any kind of tweaks, nips, tucks, whatever. Get in there, do whatever it is you want to do, but don't shame other people for what they do. I think that she was absolutely lying, and she was protesting too much, and she was just doing a lot. She does always come out and say that she does squats, not shots. But the truth is, you do shots and squats. Be honest. I thought that Sheree was a little over the top. She did a whole lot of aggressive screaming. And just because you scream louder than the other person does not mean that you're saying something or you're doing something. You're just loud, and everybody can be loud. I thought she was rude in the comment that she made when they said that she's starting to look a little bit like Drew, and she made the comment that that was her worst picture. I think that that's an absolute lie. If that was your worst picture, why'd you post it? No one posts their worst picture. I did appreciate the fan question asking Sheree, does she care about Martell's spreading it low and wide all over Huntsville and probably half of Atlanta? And she says that, when they were together, they had a great time, but she's backed off of their relationship a little bit, not because of him, but for herself. And, Kenya asked her, she said, well, how did you feel about his threatening to drop some alleged revenge porn on his ex? And she said, well, she didn't know anything about that. I think she knew everything about that. And I think she and Martell had some sort of agreement. They were going to use each other. She got a few episodes over there at Love and Marriage Huntsville. He got a few episodes over here on The Real Housewives. I think that this was a business transaction. Kenya is still not divorced from Mark. We find out that after the whole incident with Marlo kicking the door, screaming and hollering, Kenya having a fit, and Brooklyn being in the room, Mark took her back to court to file contempt charges. Mark to me just seems like a real bitch. He seems to me as if he might be a broke bitch, and he has tried his best to get money out of this woman somehow. He is full of shit. Anyway, it was all over social media that Mark was trying to get her arrested for contempt and for putting his daughter in a hostile environment that could have gotten her in trouble or gotten her hurt, and that it was a very unsafe place for Brooklyn. At this point, Marlo tries to apologize, once Andy brings it up, and Kenya's not here for it. She's not falling for the shit. She said, no, ma'am. If you really were sorry, you really wanted to apologize, you would have apologized before it aired, when you seen all of those things come out in social media, but you never reached out to me to apologize to me or my child. So no, ma'am, and I am here for it. Then Kenya tries to hand over some sort of subpoena to Marlo to testify in court. She pulls it out like bam, and she hands it to Andy Cohen, and Andy's looking at this And he says, no, ma'am, I cannot serve this blank form. Kenya then says, oh, they printed out the wrong one. I think that's a bunch of shit. I love Kenya, I really do, but there is no way that someone as smart as Kenya, who was planning on this big dramatic moment of giving a subpoena to Marlo, doesn't open up and look at the form clearly before she brings it out. No, ma'am, I don't buy it. She also brings up that through discovery in her divorce case, she has found that Marlo was texting and calling Mark, trying to get information on Kenya. Marlo acts as if she has no idea what Kenya's talking about. She does not know any of it. I think that's an absolute lie. I think that Marlo knows exactly what she was doing. And I think that Marlo was texting and calling Mark to find out any information she could on Kenya. Marlo is the Marge of this show. So then there was a fan that brought up the Cash App situation, and it was interesting because Sheree starts to talk and say, well, she was the one who called all of her friends to invite them out to celebrate her birthday. And Andy said, so you're paying. He said, I was assuming that's how you were going to end the conversation, because if I invite all my friends out to dinner to celebrate my birthday, I'm paying for it. You know, these are people that are in a different tax bracket. You know what I mean? If Andy Cohen said, come out and celebrate my birthday, I would assume Andy was paying for it. But, you know, Andy said Sheree has a very interesting relationship with bills. And when he said that, I busted out laughing. I said, she really does. And she told us that on the show last episode when she was with her daughter. She said she does not get stressed out over bill collectors. They can call her all they want and she'll pick up the phone and tell them when she gets it, they'll get it, which is never. She did try to throw Drew and Candy under the bus a little bit. She says, nobody has ever sued me, taken me to court to try to get them to pay money that I owe them or a bill that I wouldn't pay. All of it was bogus, and Sheree was just really trying to deflect. Girl, I thought of Candace in that moment. You're deflecting. Girl, you have a problem with paying your bills. Now then her and Candy get into this back and forth. This back and forth was kind of exhausting. You know, Candy was absolutely telling her the truth. You know, most of the stuff that you had on that runway for your collection was not on the website. Everything that was on the website is things that she purchased from different warehouse manufacturers, some being Shein, in bulk, and then she just slapped She by Sheree on them and her star. And then she upped the price by, 200% almost. That's what she did. At the same time, she's calling herself a fashion designer. You are not a fashion designer. That does not make you a designer because you threw your own label on somebody else's work. You just sell fashion. And that's what Candy was trying to tell her. She said that's what Tags is. She doesn't design those clothes at Tags. She just sells clothes that she's ordered online. And yes, she marks it up because she's trying to get a profit. However, I do have to agree with Sheree because her and Candy are doing the same thing. The only difference is Sheree is trying to act as if she actually designs. She doesn't. Both of them are marking those things up a little too much in my opinion. But they are obviously women who are trying to make a buck, and I can't knock anyone's hustle. And if I like the item, I would buy it. You know what I mean? Am I going to buy a sweatshirt with She by Sheree on it for $250? Hell no. I will just take the plain sweatshirt for $12.60 over at the Shein. No, ma'am. If I'm going to buy a sweatshirt with a label on it that, costs that much, it better be my own damn label. I'm just saying. Pia talks to you or some shit. I'm not buying that She by Sheree. I'm just not. And she tried to say that she paid that man. She paid that man. You better understand. Listen, that man went out on social media, and I will post what he said right here. I'm too sick, y'all, to go through all of it. But in other words, he was saying that Sheree did not pay him. Rowan, the girl that she hired, the one that Kenya talked down to, and she was wrong for doing it, that young lady actually paid him, and he says that she has not gotten her money from Sheree. So I have no idea, but I don't believe that Sheree pays people. Sheree is too much. I also agree very much that Sheree does a lot of this squats, not shots, and I'm living this natural living and I'm working out and look at my body, look at my body. You know, listen, the truth is clearly she believes in working out. Her body is amazing. She is a beautiful woman from head to toe. That's true. But you have had work done. And most of the other ladies on the show, they have had some work done as well. You don't have the right to bash them for getting work and not hitting the gym like you hit the gym. Everybody has the right to do what they want to do. If I was hella rich, you think that I would be getting up at 5:30 every morning, headed out to the gym? Hell no. I would rather fly down to Dr. Miami and have him hook me up than lay low for 6 to 8 weeks. And I would rather do that than hustle my butt out of bed, running over to the gym and trying to eat right. Everybody doesn't want to do that. If you've got the means and you want to go work out, do that. If you have the means and you want to go see a certified surgeon, do that. Okay? Don't judge other people on their decisions regarding their appearance. I hate that. Andy's making that comment. Don't you all go see the same doctor? Because they have all done something. And Sheree and her big face, little face, whatever, I'm still better. You wish you never could. Girl, shut up. Candy said what her big face or little face butt really needs to do is get her money up instead of being worried about what the hell Candy is doing. And that's for sure. Candy is clearly doing something right because her money is always right. Sheree coming up with this She News, this whole magazine based on Candy, says I am jealous and I am desperate. And then Marlo was over on the other couch calling the women on the other couch, which is Candy, Drew, and Kenya, broke, jealous, pretty girls. And then Sheree makes this comment, they got to get their money up. Excuse me? Excuse me. The last I heard, Candy was worth like 30-some million dollars. Why does she need to get her money up? Sheree, listen, you just admitted on the show that you are still in the red. And I don't really know what these net worth things look like for real. But according to online, you don't have $1 million. Candy has $30 million. And I'm pretty sure that Kenya and Drew have money. So why would you say they need to get their money up? You and Marlo, where do y'all really get y'all's money? Oh, gosh. Anyway, I think Sheree spending all this time making this magazine about Candy says a lot about Sheree. I think that it's a compliment to Candy. Sheree, you are a jealous hater. You're angry that Candy just keeps winning, that she is always booked and busy, and it shows. Sheree making that comment that Candy needs to worry about her businesses. I think she does. And I think that you know she does, and that's why you're such a jealous hater. Period. You know what? As bad as Sheree's businesses are going, you would think that she would really want to be cool with Candy. Candy is always willing to help out and give you some advice, point you in the right direction of people that can help you. I just don't understand it. Sheree, girl, go on somewhere. She created a full 6-page magazine. I think it's an ode to her love for Candy. That's a damn shame. Andy did ask Candy how she felt about Drew's comment that after filming this movie with her and Todd, she's only going to do Lifetime movies and above. Candy was not really okay with it. However, Drew did try to clarify it. She did get paid less than what her normal rate is. She says that she does have a union and she has a minimum rate that she is supposed to take, that she has for herself after all the work that she's done in the past. And she said her management passed on the role, but once she talked to Todd, she decided to go ahead and take it. Off to the side, you hear Sheree whispering to Marlo, I heard she only got $10,000 to do it. And Marlo yells across the couches, you only got $10,000 to do it? Candy says she got a lot more than $10,000. Marlo, that is none of your business. However, I think $10,000 would be on the low end, especially for all the work she had to put into it and to film an entire movie in 10 days. I think that 10,000 would have definitely been on the low end. Then they talked about Drew's shady comments made towards Kenya when she was saying that Kenya is old or she should retire or whatever. And what I thought was really good is, you know, Drew apologized. Then there was the comments that Kenya made about Drew's video being low budget. Kenya apologized, but what I liked about it more is after the reunion aired, the ladies went on social media and they tweeted out public apologies to each other, and I'll post them in the video. Again, I can't right now. I'll post them in the video and you guys can read them, but I thought that they were so grown up and so mature to just get out here publicly and apologize to each other and be willing to accept the apologies and move forward. They went over the whole thing with Drew and LaToya again, and I'm so sick of that storyline. But I absolutely trust Kandi. I believe that Drew and LaToya were absolutely making out, and for some reason Drew just does not want to own up to it. You know, she just can't own up to it, and that's fine. I mean, at this point, I would be tired of it, and I would just come out and say, all right, I did, move on. Now, with Drew not wanting to fess up about it, I was a little ticked off with Kandi when she said that Drew was gaslighting them. And then all of a sudden she said, we were always concerned about Ralph gaslighting you, but now I think you might have been gaslighting him. I think Kandi went too far there. Don't do that to her, because we all saw him gaslighting her. Yes, the rest of the ladies seem to believe that Drew is a bit of a liar, and Drew lies probably, but come on now. Don't do that, Kandi. Stick with the girl. Don't back Ralph and his bullshit. Drew then looks to the side and she says that she wants to make sure that her and Kandi are good. I said, well, what, girl? You just heard what she said. Why would you even want to be good with her after she just said that she believes that you are now the gaslighter? And Andy said she's hopped over to Ralph's side. Y'all are not good. Drew said the only thing she lied about was she lied about how much weight she lost. I don't think that was a good thing to say either, especially since you have the whole drop it with Drew thing going. You know, people are not, no ma'am, they don't want to drop it with Drew if you're going to lie about how much weight you dropped. Yeah, that's not a good thing. But then they showed the clips from that last reunion when Portia was on there when you said you had kissed a girl. Then they showed all this season when you were saying that you never did. So you lied there too. I'm just saying. But my favorite question of the night was when the fan question asked Marlo, does she feel that she owes the rest of the girls an apology after she bashed every last woman on how they look when he says not every person can afford to pay to improve their looks the way you did through surgery? I said, oh, that is facts. Absolutely facts. Marlo bashes the hell out of Drew and the rest of the ladies too. She talks about their bodies terribly, and Marlo has had a lot of work. Now this chick goes back and says she's only had liposuction 3 times. I believe that Marlo is absolutely lying. She has definitely had more work than just liposuction. That's just my opinion. But Marlo and Drew going back and forth, you know, that was 4th grade. 4th grade. I'm not wasting time, energy, or neck rolls on Marlo. Marlo admitting that Ralph has reached out to her. I'm not surprised by it. Drew looked like she was surprised and shocked. Girl, listen, you gave him her number. Remember? He didn't want to defend you. He wanted to defend himself. And you gave him her number and he kept it. I blame Drew for that. Now then Courtney comes out there. That fake woman. She comes out there and Andy said, can you explain to us how you are related to Ralph? And she said that her dad's sister is married to Ralph's uncle, which means you are not his cousin. You are not his cousin, side chick Courtney. You are not his cousin. You are clearly in some sort of relationship, or you have some sort of feelings for Ralph. Girl, your daddy's sister is married to his uncle. Y'all are not blood related in any way. Jeez, get the hell on here. Drew says she's giving fake. Absolutely. Then she has the nerve to turn around and say everything about Drew is fake. Girl, bye. Drew ends up throwing a plum across the room at Courtney, talking about we're all out of peaches. I thought that was hilarious. I wish she would have popped her, but cut out the props. I appreciate that, though. Andy takes a big bite out of the plum. I said, somebody give Andy a little lunch. Then Kenya trying to explain this situation and why Rory wasn't on the show. Kenya, please, just let it go. I think that Rory just didn't want to be on the show. All she had to say was he didn't want to be on the show. She makes up this thing about he didn't go into Marlo's DMs. He left a comment, and comments from lives always go to the DMs. I don't know anything about DMs on social media. I know that it took me forever to figure out where mine was. I still haven't figured out where my saved posts go. Anyway, Sanya explained to her that that is not true. Kenya was absolutely lying. And her making the comment that her and Rory didn't go on a date. Marlo knows that all her dates end with money left on the table. Kenya, I love you, but no. Making that comment, first of all, is not okay. No, that makes you look pressed. Like, come on, you don't have to say stuff like that. If you are not really concerned about her and Rory, then you should have just left it at they went on one date. Doesn't bother me, and moved on. You acting agitated like this says it bothered you. I think that there was a reason that Rory wasn't around, and Kenya knows exactly what it was, and she doesn't want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, just say that. Move on. Now, Candy calling out Sanya for lying, saying that she had her back. Sanya is a liar too. She's always calling Drew out for being a lie, but Sanya is on the side of whoever's right there with her. If she is right there with Candy, she's Team Candy. If she is sitting next to Marlo and Sheree, she's Team Marlo and Sheree. Everybody knows that Sanya is a flip-flopper, and Candy should not be shocked or surprised. Drew was extremely pissed off at Courtney, and I don't blame her. You know, at the end, she yells at Courtney and tells her to keep her son's name out of her mouth. You know, she, was Chicago Drew real quick. And I was hoping that Chicago Drew might leap across the stage and pop somebody. You know, I don't condone violence, but popping Courtney would have made me happy in that moment. Courtney is way too invested in Drew and Ralph's marriage. She is all about what the hell is going on in their marriage, which makes me believe that Courtney, maybe she was in Tampa. You know what I mean? Courtney tried to act as if she didn't bring up Drew's son. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Courtney is giving very much Ralph's side piece. Very much so. Also, after the show, Ralph went out to Twitter and posted this bullshit message. I'm gonna leave it up here for you to see. Ralph is full of shit. This is the same dude that went and wrote a whole book about co-parenting, stepchild, and adoption. You use that woman and her child. Boy, get the fuck on. Also, the funniest moment for me was when Kenya called Marlo Mrs. Roper. Now, didn't I call her that several videos back? I said it first. Several videos back that her outfit looks like Mrs. Roper to me, and I am so glad to see that other people thought so too, as you can see. Anyway, guys, oh God, I'm exhausted and I need a minute. So until next time, bye.